About 83% of you guys are not subscribed. Subscribing, clicking that like button, and commenting all help me out a lot in doing what I really want to do. Thank you guys so much for all your support.
What is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here bringing you another Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. You guys asked for it, I am providing. Here is nice Graveyard Forehead Turbo. The entire point of this deck is to say no to your opponent's graveyard. You may want to try and deny graveyard for them as much as possible. This is a very heads-up meta deck against the current meta game, which is just like Fire King, Snake Eye, pretty much exclusively. This deck focuses on really trying to get a macrocosmos of some sort online as quickly as possible. So yeah, I'm going to walk you through the deck, explain why all the different cards are going to be in there, and I'm going to walk you through the extra. First off, we are starting with a triple Assault Sentinel and one Psi Reflector. Assault Sentinel contributed to special summon a monster from your hand or deck that lists Assault Mode activate in its text except for itself, and you can't special monsters from the extract for the rest of the turn except for Synchros. Then you can target a face-up monster you control, reveal a Synchro in your extra deck, and if you do, the target monster's type and attribute become the same as the revealed monsters till end of turn. That part's not really too relevant. The main thing, though, is this is a monster that can search Psi Reflector, and this is a searchable monster in itself because it's a Beast Warrior. Then, of course, we are on the one Psi Reflector. If it's normal or special, you can add an Assault Mode Activate or a card that mentions it from your deck to your hand, except for Psi Reflector. You can reveal an Assault Mode Activate in your hand, target a monster in your grave that mentions Assault Mode Activate except for Psi Reflector, special summon it, and then you can modulate its level by up to 4, allowing us to synchro one card with the Assault Sentinel from a Synchro 5 to a Synchro 9, which is really, really important, especially for that Synchro 9. So that's going to be our small package. So yeah, we're on triple Assault Sentinel and the one Garnet, which is Psi Reflector. Although it's kind of a soft Garnet because Assault Sentinel can special it from your hand. Next, for our supplementary engine, we are on Cashier. Rise Heart is banned, yes. But all these cards play really, really well under Macrocosmos. So we're playing them all. We're on a double Rise Heart. If you control Cashier, you can special from your hand. You can't special monsters the rest of the turn except for your extra, except for Xyz, which is one slight issue of the deck where it kind of locks itself into either Synchros or Xyz early on. During your main phase, if this is a normal or special summon, you can banish one Cashier card from your deck except for itself. Banish the top 3 of your opponent's deck face down, and if you banish any, this card's level becomes 7. So it's good for level modulation. It can banish cards that we want in banished, and it can special summon itself, so it's a very powerful card. We're on a triple Fener. If you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Once per turn during the main phase, you can add a Cashier monster, including itself, from your deck to your hand. And then, if you either attack or your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls and banish it face down. Face down, brutal. Banish, brutal. Combined, it's gross. It's really gross. So even if they start activating stuff, we can start interacting with it. Even if they are trying to play under macro, we can like macro them even more, which is funny. We're on a triple Cashier Unicorn. If you control the monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only use the effective following effects of Unicorn once per turn. During your main phase, you can add a Cashier spell from your deck to your hand. When this card declares an attack, or if your opponent activates a monster effect, except during the damage step, you can look at your opponent's extra deck, and if you do, banish one monster from it face down. Spot extra deck removal is very powerful, getting rid of Promethean Princess, Amblo Whale, Hita, any one of those cards is very strong. We're on one Ogre. If you control... and Cashier Unicorn has an ignition effect to search a Cashier spell from your deck to your hand. Then we're on one Ogre. If you control the monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can add a Cashier trap, and when your opponent activates its effect, you can excavate 5 cards from the top of your opponent's deck, banish one of the cards, and place the rest on top of the deck in the same order. So just removing cards from your opponent's deck, especially being able to choose which one cards you're removing comparative to Rise Heart, where it just banishes the top 3. This one looks at the top 5, then you can choose one. So you're banishing less, but you get a choice. And then lastly, for our Scare Claws, or not Scare Claws, I guess technically it is the last of our Scare Claws. It's also the only Scare Claw. We're on one Scare Claw Cashier. During the main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do banish a Cashier or a Scare Claw from your hand or grave, you can only use the effect of Scare Claw Cashier once per turn. This card can attack while in face of defense and applies defense for damage calc. If your opponent's Cashier If your Cashier or Scareclaw monster battles an opponent's monster, that opponent's monster's effects are negated until the end of the turn. Situationally comes up, so we're playing one of it, but we can search it again with Fener or Cashier Theosis, so we are big chillin' on that. We're on Triple Dimensional Shifter, the namesake of the deck. If you have no cards in your grave, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the grave. Until the end of the next turn, any card sent to the grave is banished instead. Very strong card. We're on Triple Theosis. Target a Cashier monster you control. Special summon a Cashier with a different attribute from your deck and defense position for the rest of the turn. After this card resolves, you can't special monsters from the extra deck except for Xyz monsters. If this card's banished, you can target one of your banished Cashier cards, except for Theosis, add it to your hand. So what we can do is we can go Assault Sentinel combo to go into our Shen Shen, which is our 9 of choice. Spoilers. And then we can still go Theosis. We're locked into both Synchros and Xyz, meaning we can't make anything from the extra deck. However, the Cashiers are mostly here as big bodies to protect our frail life points, as well as just being a general nuisance to our opponent. Then we are on a Triple Dimensional Fissure. Any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Nice, clean, one sentence, continuous spell, all the above. We're on Triple Tanky. When this card is activated, add a level 4 or lower Beast Warrior from your deck to your hand. Then Beast Warriors gain attack and stuff. Doesn't really matter. Assault Sentinel is the only target for it, so this is just Assault Sentinel copies 4 through 6. We're on one copy of Birth because it's searchable. You can normal summon level 7 monster without tributing. During your main phase, you can special summon a non-Xyz Cashier that's banished during your grave. Your opponent activates a spell, card, or effect you control, and you control a Cashier monster. You can target 3 cards in your opponent's grave and banish them face down. You're going to use Birth once per turn. Really powerful for getting rid of those resources that are still in the grave. For example, non-monsters while under Dimensional Fissure. So getting rid of them can prove useful. We're on Triple Wraith Soph. When this card's activated, you can add a Cashier monster from your deck to your hand. Monsters you control gain 100 attack and defense for each different attribute on the field. If Shangri-Ira you control activates this effect, you can target a card on the field and destroy it, and you can only use each effect of Wraith Soph once per turn. You can only activate Wraith Soph once per turn. Very strong card. It gives our Shangri-Ira bonus effects, which is quite nice. It can buff our monsters, including our Shen Shen, which is also really nice. Another one of our soft garnets, Assault Mode Activate. We just need to make sure we have a card in deck to search a Psi Reflector. If we open it, that is fine, as long as we open the Sentinel as well, because we can just search a Sentinel with Psi Reflector because it mentions Assault Mode Activate, and then we can just still reveal the same Assault Mode Activate. So in fact, if we open the Assault Mode Activate, we just means we thin our deck by 1 extra by grabbing an Assault Sentinel instead. For hand traps, we're on Triple Infinite Permanence. That's it for hand traps. We are on one Big Bang. If a Cashier Xyz monsters on the field and the player controls 2 or more monsters, they must banish cards they control face down, so they control only 1 monster. If this card's banished, you can target 1 Cashier Xyz monster you control, add 1 Cashier monsters attached to it from your to your hand, then you can special summon that monster from your hand. Very beneficial if we can banish this. If we have via Rise Heart and we have an Xyz on field, we can grab one of the materials and just bring it straight out. Very nice. We're on 1 Preparations. During either player's turn, you can special summon one of your Cashier monsters that's banished or in your hand. If your opponent activates a trap card or effect, you control a Cashier monster, and this card's already face up in your spell and trap zone. You can look at your opponent's hand, and if you do banish 1 card from it face down, you can use Preparations once per turn. We're playing this card just because it lets us play more control-y, game plan. Since we're not playing a Rise Heart, we kind of have to use our Cashier as more as pawns and resources instead of win cons. So Preparations helps us do that. Triple Macro Cosmos, and then 1 Different Dimension Ground, which is just D-Shifter on a trap card. That's it for our main deck. Nice clean 40. Now onto our extra. We're on 1 Link Rebo, theoretically makeable via Psi Reflector. Same with IP Masquerade and SP Limonite. We could theoretically make them with the Link Rebo and such. Just in here as backups. We're on double Shangri-Ira. During each standby, you can special Cashier from your deck. You can only use the previous effect of Shangri-Ira once per turn. Each time a card your opponent owns and possesses is banished face down. Except during the damage step, you can choose 1 unused main monster zone or spell trap zone. It can't be used while this monster is face up on the field. If this card on the field be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can attach a material from this card instead. Very strong card. We can play kind of the mini version of how Cashier used to play, just trying to lock out your opponents. By, let's say, for example, Pendulum, we can lock out the pen zones, we can lock out the field spell zone for Snake Eye. There's a lot of stuff we are going to be able to do beneficially. If we have 3 zone locks, we can basically prevent them from activating Hita ever. If we lock the right, left, and middle monster zone, they can never activate Hita, since it does have to special summon to a zone that Hita points to, which is very nice. But yeah, this card is just here to supplement our Cashiers, and we could make it if we felt like it's necessary. One Big Eye, because we can make it with Cashiers. One Flare Metal, because I think it's really funny. Probably not optimal, though. One Typhon. That's it for our XCs. Now for our Synchros. We probably don't need to be playing this many Synchros, to be completely honest. These are just here because I like toolboxing. Like, you guys can put whatever you want in here. But I highly don't recommend bringing this deck to locals if you want to have friends. Just a suggestion. One Portal Dragon, because we can pop cards and draw cards. One Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, because Blue Eyes used to play it, so it must be good. One Black Rose Dragon, because we can nuke the whole field. One Draco Berserker, because it has to do with banishing. One Stellar Wolf Riot, because it's Nibiru on a body, which is funny. I guess technically Nibiru does have a body, but it's Nibiru on the board. And then lastly, Shen Shen, the thing that we're pretty much always going to be making with Reflector, so pretty much all these other Synchros are kind of pointless. But we probably would make another one if we already, like, have D-Shift or plus macro. So we already have 2 forms of banish. So might as well, make something a little bit more proactive instead of a Shen Shen. And then the side, we could always include Phantasme, because I think Phantasme is amazing in this format. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for Aha Man for suggesting this in the Discord. Discord is going to be down in the comments below. If you do want to be suggesting any decks, I would recommend doing it there. I have a whole channel dedicated to that, and I do pay a little bit more attention to that than I do onto the YouTube. Just so you guys know, there's only going to be 2 decks featured next week. Maybe even only 1 deck, but 2 videos next week, just due to some personal things. But the schedule should be back to normal after that, so I would recommend, if you did want to suggest a deck, joining the Discord now, putting it in just so we can have a comprehensive list of what decks people want to see for the next week. Thank you guys so much for watching, in the case that you still are, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye!
Thank y'all so much for watching the video, it really means a lot. If you want to talk to other Yu-Gi-Oh players in a competitive manner, please feel free to check out my Discord. We are still growing, but we would love to have you, and we plan to do some events sometime soon. You will also be able to do cool stuff like vote on future videos and topics of videos, so swing by sometime and check us out. I also started a Patreon, so that'll be linked in the description of my videos from now on. Donating would mean a lot, and would help in producing these videos. Right now, there's only one tier, being Tier 1 Femboy. This tier includes access to an exclusive Discord channel where you'll be able to talk amongst other femboys and have access to discussions with me as well as getting a shout out in every video following your patronage. Thank you so much for all your support.